Today we're diving deep into a timeless tale from feudal Japan, one that holds a powerful lesson for all of us dreaming big in the modern world. Get ready to uncover the young samurai's dilemma, dreaming big in feudal Japan. Once upon a time, in the land of cherry blossoms and ancient traditions, there was a young samurai named Yuki. Like many of us, Yuki dreamed of becoming the greatest warrior in the land. He'd spend hours imagining epic victories, poring over scrolls detailing legendary battles, and speaking endlessly about his grand plans for the future. He could visualize every perfect sword strike, every strategic move he'd make. But here's the kicker, the one crucial problem. He never actually trained. Yuki truly believed that ambition alone would make him strong. He thought that by having these enormous, inspiring goals, he would naturally be propelled into action. It felt so good to think about his future greatness, didn't it? But then, every time it was time to pick up a book and to practice his stances, or to endure the grueling physical demands of samurai training, he found an excuse. Oh, the weather wasn't right today. It was too hot, too cold, too rainy. He didn't feel motivated. The inspiration just wasn't striking him. Or perhaps, he told himself, he just needed to plan a little bit more, refine his strategy before he could possibly begin. So days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. His dreams grew bigger and more elaborate, painting vivid pictures of a glorious future. But the harsh reality was, his actual skills stayed exactly the same, stuck in a perpetual state of almost ready. Meanwhile, a painful truth began to unfold before his eyes. Younger, less experienced warriors, those who showed up every single day, rain or shine, those who consistently put in the work without fanfare, they started surpassing him. Their movements grew sharper, their resolve stronger, their reputations blossoming. Yuki watched, his heart heavy, as his grand visions remained just that, visions. He slowly, painfully, began to realize a profound truth. Dreaming without doing, without consistent, dedicated action, doesn't lift you higher. Instead, it subtly, insidiously holds you back, tethering you to a world of what-ifs and unfulfilled potential. So, why does this happen? The problem wasn't Yuki's ambition. That was clearly abundant. The real issue was his complete and utter reliance on motivation. He genuinely thought that inspiration would strike him like a lightning bolt, and then he would finally act. He was waiting for that perfect feeling, that surge of energy, to kickstart his journey. But here's a fundamental truth. Motivation rarely shows up first. In fact, the more he simply talked about his plans, without ever stepping onto the training ground, the more his mind played a clever trick on him. His brain started to interpret the planning and talking as actual progress, giving him a false sense of accomplishment. His beautiful dreams, instead of being a launch pad, slowly became a gilded cage, a beautiful trap. And inaction, born from this waiting game, became his quiet downfall. Remember this, because it's crucial. Time is the most precious, non-renewable resource we have. Every single moment you spend preparing, planning, or just wishing, without actually practicing, without taking a real step, is time you can never, ever get back. It's gone. Centuries ago, legendary figures like the great samurai Miyamoto Musashi understood this concept profoundly. Musashi, known as one of the greatest swordsmen in history, didn't rely on sporadic bursts of inspiration. He wasn't waiting for the perfect day to train. Instead, he lived by a different philosophy, one deeply rooted in Japanese culture, Kaizen. Kaizen, a philosophy of continuous improvement, emphasized small, consistent, incremental changes. Musashi knew that true, lasting greatness doesn't come from sudden, Herculean efforts. It emerges quietly but powerfully from the steady, unwavering rhythm of daily practice. Think about it. The samurai didn't train because they woke up feeling perfectly ready or incredibly motivated every single morning. No, they trained because training was their way of life. It was a commitment, a fundamental part of who they were, regardless of their fleeting feelings. Waiting for the perfect moment to start, waiting for that surge of motivation, is exactly like waiting for perfect weather before you even begin a long journey. You might end up waiting forever, while everyone else, those who dared to step out even in a drizzle, are already far down the path, making real progress. Don't let yourself be someone who waits. So here's a key truth, a game changer many overlook. Action creates momentum, and momentum, my friends, creates motivation. It's a cycle, and action is the starting point. The most successful people you know, the ones who truly accomplish incredible things, they don't wait around for inspiration to strike them like a lightning bolt. They act despite resistance, despite the doubts, despite the inner voice telling them to wait. A single small step, taken consistently every single day, holds infinitely more power than the grandest, most elaborate plan you never ever execute. Imagine a samurai, let's call him Kenji, who wakes up one morning feeling incredibly lazy. The last thing he wants to do is train. His friends are still asleep, and the thought of rigorous practice feels daunting. But instead of giving in, he makes a deal with himself. He'll just practice one sword form. Just one. His friends, when they hear about it later, might even laugh, saying, "One form, that's useless. You need a full session." But Kenji sticks to it. Every single morning, he practices that one sword form. Over weeks, then months, that tiny, consistent practice becomes automatic. His body subtly grows stronger. His technique becomes sharper, and his discipline deepens with each repetition. By the time his friends are still waiting for that mythical spark of motivation, Kenji has already mastered the basics, building a foundation of strength and skill that they lack. He didn't wait for motivation, he built it, one small action at a time. Now let's talk about something many of us fall into, the illusion of preparation. Talking about your goals, making detailed plans, researching every angle, even buying all the right gear. All of that can feel incredibly productive, right? It feels like you're moving forward. But if you're not taking real, tangible, actionable steps, if you're not doing the thing, then it's often just disguised procrastination. It's a sophisticated way your mind avoids the discomfort of actual work. Waiting for motivation effectively hands control of your entire life over to your fleeting emotions. You become a passenger, letting your feelings dictate your direction. True strength, real power, comes from acting even when conditions are far from perfect, even when you don't feel like it, even when the path ahead seems unclear. As one wise samurai teacher once said, "The sword that waits for perfect conditions never leaves its sheath." Think about that. A sword, no matter how magnificent, how sharp, is useless if it's never drawn. Don't let your life, your potential, your dreams stay perpetually in the sheath, waiting for a moment that might never come. So how do we break free from this cycle of ambition without action? The samurai way to beat laziness is simple, yet incredibly profound. First, start small. Don't aim for perfection, aim for initiation. Second, start daily. Consistency is the magic ingredient. Even the tiniest step, a 5-minute practice, a single push-up, writing one sentence, it all counts. Don't wait to feel ready, you rarely will. Don't trust your feelings. They're like clouds, constantly changing. Instead, trust your habits. Trust your commitments. Discipline isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about moving through it, understanding that the greatest growth happens on the other side of what feels hard. As they famously said in ancient texts, "I am not controlled by my feelings. I am guided by my commitments." This is the core of true willpower. It's the strength to say, "I will do this, whether I feel like it or not." That, my friends, is the power to truly shape your life, to turn your grandest dreams into a tangible reality. So if you're like young Yuki, ambitious but struggling with inaction, remember his story. Dreams alone, no matter how beautiful or inspiring, won't take you anywhere you truly want to go. The key is to start small, act daily, and allow that momentum to build your strength one step at a time. Because with consistent, dedicated effort, you truly can climb any mountain. Take action today. The sword is in your hands. Will you leave it in the sheath, forever waiting, forever dreaming? Or will you swing, creating your own legend, one powerful stroke at a time? If this message resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe for more insights, and share this video with anyone who needs a little push to get started. We're building a community of action takers here, and I'd love for you to be a part of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.